Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'll be showing you these two journal sets. They are called Tiny Treasure Journal Set, and they will be available in my Etsy shop if you are interested. I want to take a moment here to say thank you and welcome to all the new subscribers and everyone who has been here since I've been on YouTube. I love and cherish each and every one of you. I love you all so dearly. All right, so this one is made with the digitals called Pearls and Lace Digital, and Vintage Style Snippets made these digitals. And I do believe she took these in her own home. So these are her beautiful treasures that are in these digitals, and they're just gorgeous. Wait till you see them. And she is on YouTube and on Etsy, so I will link her YouTube and her Etsy shop directly to the digital. It is so pretty. So let's get going on this one. So this one is, I wanted to make about the same style clip. So here is a vintage, this is a vintage black and ivory Japanese cameo. She is just gorgeous. She's stunning. I love her so much. So I wanted to make a cameo clip. And this antique applique here is gently glued down to a beautiful doily. And then I used jump rings to attach the chain here. So pretty. And then the bow here. So pretty. So it is on a clip that I have clipped onto your antique style drawstring purse. And this is the bigger one, but inside is your journal set. So it is bigger. So let's see, let's go all the way till it doesn't open anymore. And I will measure the opening, but it is quite bigger. And I did tea dye the vintage satin and cotton and the lace. So it's measuring almost 11 inches. So it is quite big. So they are the same size purses here. And it's so pretty. And the tassel on the bottom is some vintage lace and a tassel here. So it is quite long. It is big. It is quite long. It is so pretty when it's hanging. So let's go ahead and take everything out and start going through everything. So pretty. Now here is the mini drawstring purse that we made in the video yesterday. So pretty. I was going to dangle it below the bigger bag, but it didn't look right to me. So I think separately, I think it's just as beautiful. So there is that. And then some ephemera here, tucked in with some more little treasures here for you. So this was fun ephemera. Let me know if you want to make this in a video together. So this is a beautiful bag here. Here's the inside, and everything is tea dyed. Everything is tea dyed. So pretty. So let's move the cameo over here, and let's get going on this. Here is, we will look at the journal in just a minute, okay? I'm going to put her there. Let's go ahead and take a look at this cutie drawstring purse here. Remember, we did this in a video together. So I will just quickly flip through it so you can see. But I will link the videos directly to this mini journal. All right, so let's see. Where did I put the tie? There's so much lace. Here it is. It's right here. It's hard to see sometimes. But this is a wrap that goes around your little tiny journal that we just put together real quick in the video. And then here's the little tiny journal here. Everything is removable, so you can move it around if you wish. She is so cute though. So inside were some vintage diamond chain, and you take this pin off and it's a pocket. And then here is a diamond vintage button. It's so beautiful with the applique on a lace page. And then in here it is 2 vintage wedding buttons for that pocket, and then another lace page, and then in this pocket here it looks like a little flat back pearl and rhinestone jewelry piece there, all your tiny treasures, right? And then here's a ribbon rose and a tiny vintage button on the pin there. And then I will link the video to this so you can see exactly what's inside. And then in this one here is a pearl white flower flat back. And then on here we have pinned on with a flower button and antique lace snippet there. That lace is gorgeous. You've seen it in some of my videos as a background. So pretty. And on the last one, and there's a rhinestone there, is white and gold, kind of like a pearl trim there. And then here's the back page. So she is so cute, right? Now I had super fun making this with you in the video. So fun. Now I will make a mini tiny journal again using less lace and more paper. So I've been playing around with paper, and I want to show you how to make a mini journal out of 1 sheet of paper, and then you can add more in if you want to. Okay, so there is your mini journal that goes into your tiny purse. All your tiny treasures, right? Isn't she just so cute? All right, so there is that. All right, and here is the ephemera that I made. And inside, now I will wrap this into a baggie so it doesn't leak any ink if you purchase this. And it's just a mini pin. You know what? How big is this pin? It's just a cute little white pin, 3.5 inches long. Isn't that just adorable? So, and that is tucked in here into your ephemera, but I will put it into a baggie and wrap it separately because I just do not want it to leak any ink. So you just simply turn it and the pin comes out. So cute. And now this little tiny treasure here, this is a vintage mother of pearl mini button here. And I just have it pinned here. And I have it wrapped with tea-dyed vintage lace. I love this lace. I use it all the time. And I have wrapped in the digital here. I cut out a heart shape of the digital, and it's a cameo brooch. And that is Pearls and Lace Digital from Vintage Style Snippets. And it's in a rose frame. And it does open, and it does sit on your desk or your shelf. And you can change it out. So cute, right? So sweet to me. So then I'm just going to wrap this back up real quick, and we will keep going so we can find all our treasures. This is so fun. I love making tiny journals. I just think it's so fun to put all your tiny treasures in little sweet little places so you can find them, right? So that is in this, tucked in here. And here is a vintage wedding dress applique. And with this gorgeous brooch here, I love this brooch. And then here is an 18, and I just slide it right off. Okay, just slide it off. And here is a 1800s book page. And what I did was, well, let's just go through everything first. And here's a tag from Pearls and Lace Digital. Isn't that just gorgeous? And everything I did, this is matte photo paper, and I tea dyed the back of it. Isn't it just gorgeous? These are pictures from her, I do believe her home or her craft room. Isn't that just so pretty? And then here's another pocket. Look at these boots. Isn't that just gorgeous? I love that digital. You did a wonderful job on that. And then inside is a little journal. We'll get to that in just a minute. And then on the back side, tucked into the French 1800s book page, are more of her digitals that I've cut and put these vintage lace samples here. Isn't this a gorgeous pink? It's like a vintage pink. And then this one here is a cream, just on a pin. Isn't that just so sweet? So that is where, oh, well, I have everything out. Let's look at this. So this here unfolds like this. This is tea dyed paper, and I did sew in some lace. So you could actually take this out and use it somewhere else. And then here's the book page. And I just put washi tape down the center. So it'll strengthen a little bit because it's very old paper. So let's put this back in here real quick and tuck these back in here. And you know, there are more pockets on the inside of that, so you could take some of the ephemera out of the journal and put it in here if you want to. And then here is this little journal here, and I put this very, very antique applique. It's very soft and pretty, and it's just clipped. So here's the rest of it there. And then look at this little tiny French book page from the 1800s as well. And it's just parchment paper and tea dyed papers. It is blank, so you could do what you want with it. It's just a little notebook. There's the middle signature tied with a beautiful Swiss dot lace there, and then a paper clip. Isn't that cute? So I had fun making this journal set. It's so pretty. The pearls and lace digital is just beautiful. I love it so much. And then I tucked in the boots in this one. And then I tucked this beautiful top right here. I love those pearls. I love the color. They're just gorgeous. And here. And then you slide on your applique, and I do it from the bottom up. So, let's see here. Just slide it on up. And I put it at an angle, like this. And then I tucked the little frame inside, because the applique kind of stretches. And then the pin, but like I said, I will wrap the pin in a baggie and wrap it separately. So cute, right? All right, so let's get to this gorgeous journal. So let me show you at a different angle how I made this real quick. Boy, the sun is sure coming in the window today. So I made these journals. I made myself a journal back in, I think September, and it inspired me to start working on these. So I've been working on these since October, these 2 journal sets. And I have it so you can sit it on your shelf or your desk, and you can just fluff it up and drape it the way you want it. So she can sit on your shelf or your desk for display. So I wanted to make it like this. Now this is a pretty small journal. It's not that big. We'll measure in just a second. But she's so pretty. Well, I have it at this angle. It is quite bright. But I did drape the lace really long on purpose, so you can show off your lace. And then here's the side, and here's the tie. I like making extra long ties. And then here's the side, and then here is the back. Isn't that a beautiful digital there? So pretty. And then on the spine, on the inside of the spine and outside, I used washi tape. I love using washi tape. It strengthens the spine and it makes it so pretty. But look at that digital. Look at the brooches. Isn't that just stunning? So pretty. Okay, so let's get right into this tiny treasure. All right, she is quite full, isn't she? So let's measure her. I'm just gonna go to the page. So it looks like 5 inches wide and 5 inches tall. So cute, right? And I put washi tape down here. I have sewn it. Isn't she just precious? She's so pretty. Now, this isn't in her digital. I either got this image off of Pinterest, or this is Lily from Oohlala. I don't remember. I really don't. Okay, so it's one of the two. It's either Pinterest or Oohlala, because it looks like Lily to me. Is that Lily? She's so cute. Oh, she's actually gorgeous. Okay, so on here, on a bob pin, I hung some vintage rhinestone, and this is a brooch here. You can remove this. And then for the ties, let's open her up so I can show you. Oh. Pulling on the wrong lace, huh? Okay, so here I put in the ties on both sides. All right, and then on the spine, I'll show you when I get to the middle. It is 2 signatures. Once you take everything out, it does lay flat, but remember, it's to display if you would like. You don't have to. I used washi tape here. There's the digital. Here's an antique ostrich feather and French book page there. Tea-dyed and coffee-dyed papers. And here's an embossed envelope. And inside is a ruffle here that I did color. So pretty. Here's some paper here. And some stenciling there, that vintage pink. And then in the pocket in the envelope is this digital. Isn't that just pretty? And everything is tea dyed on the back of the digitals. Isn't it just gorgeous? The flower and the pearls. Okay, why aren't you going in? Well, I'll just put you right here for now. Doilies, black lined paper. And all I did was photocopy black and white, just some regular lined paper. Same with the grid paper. I printed it, photocopied it, and printed out with black ink. Here is a bobby pin with some satin double-sided vintage ribbon with some vintage lace with it. And here on the back side is this digital, the same one, just smaller. And this is presentation paper. Oh, that's a pocket. And here is this lace here. I love this lace. Look at the netting. And it kind of has a stretch to it. It's kind of reminds me of lingerie lace. So then I just tucked it into the pocket there, peeking out. I think it's really pretty and simple. And then here is this digital. I love that cameo. I downsized the cameo and the heart frame. Same one. And then, so it's like her little treasures, right? All tucked inside. And then here on a bulb pin is a rose dyed tag, some washi tape, and that little rose lace with that charm there, pearl charm. And all the laces are sewn into the papers. This is really old paper. This is from the 1800s. And then here is this digital. So pretty. And then on the back here, I just put in some lace there. And then here is this little tiny tag, right? It is so cute. You gotta have tiny treasures everywhere. All right, here I stenciled a rose, and it's very light, just light stenciled. And this one here, I used a little gold there. And then here is the middle signature where I've tied the first signature off. And then here is the boots here again. Which is pretty. And then I tied this in here, but what I'm going to do is leave that tied onto the page. Now this looks black, but it's chocolate brown, and it's very vintage. It's not tulle. It's like vintage netting. It is so pretty. And I thought it would look so pretty in this journal set. And in here, wrapped up in this black lined paper here, is this more of this vintage chocolate brown. There you go. Now you can see the color. Chocolate brown here in this little paper. So here on a little dot is a little ruffle and a little bow. And I just put together some of my scraps from this journal set in here. And I just tied it here so you can remove it and put it wherever you wish. And I just have it tucked in here like this. And then I put it in the page like this, like over the page. So I thought that was cute. And then you just tuck this in here. So cute. All right. More stenciling there. And here again is this gorgeous digital. This is on presentation paper. tea-dyed. I love how you can see it through the back too. Oh, there you go. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. Oh, and she had to save a snippet of her lace from her blouse, and she put it in her little keepsake journal here. Isn't that just gorgeous? So I just have it in this little tuck spot here, and I tucked in her lace behind the pocket there, so it draped down. See the little flower right there? So pretty. And more tea-dyed grid paper here. Now here is, wait, what's on the back side? Okay, so here it is. This digital here. This is on matte photo paper. And then on the paper clip, I just put the little applique there. And then inside here are more little treasures. I don't even remember what's in here. Yay, I like treasures. What is in here? Oh, now this is rose dyed glassine bag there. Oh, so here's a little ribbon bow and an applique and some snippets here. So isn't that just sweet? So those little treasures go in here. My stomach's growling. Must be lunchtime. Wait, I had it over like this. Or more close to supper time, I do believe. And then I just pinned that up. Yeah, clipped it there. And tucked this here. So everything in here can be removable. Everything. Except for the sewn lace on the sides. Here's the other side of that embossed pocket. And here's a jewelry box. Some pearls and lace. So pretty. And then in this pocket here, we have an applique and more scrap papers from the journal, just paper clipped. And then tucked into this pocket. Let's see if I can get it in better like this. Oh, and a tag. I tucked in a little mini tag. Just from clips from little leftover pieces from the digital. There we go. All right, and then here is a vintage applique just clipped onto a glycine bag. So soft and so pretty. And tucked inside the glycine bag is this digital here. Look at those feathers. Isn't that just gorgeous? And again, you can see through the... I love that. I love the presentation paper. And then this here. I love that brooch. I kind of have a brooch like that. I should have put it in this journal set, but it was already packed. So that goes in there. And then I just have gently clipped. I put this little piece over the bag there, and then like that. And here's this digital again. Isn't that just so pretty? Look at that one. That's so pretty. And then on the back side here is this little writing spot, tea-dyed here. So pretty, isn't it? And then over here, I made a dangle here. Let me get in closer. So here I made a charm here with a pearl and these beads here. and put this heart, and this has little amber gems inside the heart. And then I did a jump ring and put another tassel on the side, so it drapes beautifully off the sewn lace off the side of the page. And then here I just wrapped up this tea dyed lace around the paper, the page, and then safety pinned it here, and then this just unfolds here on this side of the page. And then on this glycine bag, I did not cut it open. That way you can move it around where you want to in your journal. But on the back side, I have this little tag, and I have this applique here. So it's just pinned on here like this. But this is a glycine bag that you can do what you want to do with it. You can cut it open and put a pocket on the side or the top. This tea-dyed paper. Little light stenciling there. So we are in this. Oh, you know what I forgot? I kept going. Let me show you the middle signature here. So there's the washi tape that I have on the inside of the cover. So we're in the second signature, and I didn't even tell you that. Here's this digital, and this one again. This one in the middle signature. And then on this side, I made another charm here with a black bead and put a jump ring and a pearl there. That black bead is super sparkly. She's so pretty. And then over here, let's see. Over here it is just a clip here. And is there anything on the back side? Yes, here's a smaller version. And then on this glycine bag is this lace here. It's like a nudie pink with beautiful, it looks vintage to me. But I have it clipped here, and then down here I have a little dot to hold it. And inside are more treasures. Yay for treasures. Let's see here. I have that there. Here is this tag. And here is, I think I did pin this here. So let me see. All right, wrapped up in this piece of lace, I put in this applique and this little snippet of black lace. It is so pretty. Let's see. You can see that better there. And this applique here, and this one here. So lots of little fun treasures for you to play with, right? So then I have it wrapped up again, and it's and put the pin on there. So let me put this on here, or in here. More little fun treasures to play with, right? So we are almost finished here. So let me, I had it on here, didn't I? Yeah, I do believe I did. So I had it over the page like this. And then I had this clip here tied with tulle right here on the edge. And then oops, I forgot to put this lace in here. There we go. Oh, that's so pretty. And then on the back side tucked in here, I had this tucked in. Okay. All right. All right, we are almost finished this here. Not a beautiful vintage pink rose. And then tucked in this glycine bag is just a little journal here with lots of little fun papers to play with. What did I have tucked in here? Oh, okay. I just put in some lace at the bottom of the signature there, so you can move it around and do whatever you would like with that. Oops. There we go. This thing's full. And then on this page here, I have a piece of lace in this tag and this lace on the back side. It's all removable. So fun. And we haven't even gotten to the second set yet. So thank you for hanging in there with me. Just lots of fun elements. And on this clip, on this glycine bag, this is one I did not cut. It's an applique. And on the back side is this little tag here with this little snippet. It's a flower. It's so pretty. And then here is the back of the journal. So I hope that you love your Tiny Treasures journal set, the first one. So what I'll do in my Etsy is I'll put Tiny Treasures journal set number 1. This one will be number 1. And then the next one will be number 2. All right, that way you all know what you're getting. So let me tie her back up beautifully. All right, so here she is all tied up beautifully. And here she is. Here's the top. The 2 signatures you can see there. So Tiny Treasures journal set number 1 here. I was going to give her a name, but I thought you could give her a name because she's just precious. So I'm going to put everything back in the purse now. And we will get on to Tiny Treasures journal set number 2, right? All right. So she's in her cute little purse. Her drawstring purse here. So pretty. Then you kind of just, I like to adjust things so they look better, and then I put the clip right here on the side so that hangs there beautifully. Okay, so that Tiny Treasures journal set was from the digitals were from Vintage Style Snippets. That is so pretty. All right, now we are in Tiny Treasures journal set number 2, and here she is. It's the same clip. I wanted to make it the same. I don't know why, but I just did. Now the digitals in here are from Oohlala Vintage Treasures Biscotti Silk Couture Kit, digital kit, and I will link her YouTube and her Etsy shop for you, so you can go check out those gorgeous digitals. Now, this should measure the same. The opening might be different, but it is the same size bag, holding all your tiny, yummy treasures, right? So let's take everything out, and there's the tiny purse there. And on the bottom, again, is the tassel for the big bag here, the big purse. And, and let's go ahead and put the cameo over here. And let's see. And here is the tiny purse, the first one that I made here. And here is an ephemera holder here. Let's see, yeah, tucked in there. And then here is the journal, and we will look at the journal in just a couple minutes. And she also stands up on a shelf or your desk or anything, somewhere to inspire you. But let's go ahead and look at this little tiny journal here. So here's the tassel here that I tied on, same as the other one. So everything's pretty close to the same, just maybe different elements and different digitals, right? So on this one here, I don't think I have shown you the little treasures inside, so I might need to show you these. So here's the doily wrapped around this little tiny journal. Let me get in closer. With this little vintage heart charm from a bracelet. It's so pretty. And this little lace snippet. And these little ties are removable. And then here is the little tiny journal for this one. And this applique is removable. And I did put a safety pin on the side to hold all the pages in, just like the one we made. And in this lace page is, oh, okay, so it is the same gold vintage rhinestone chain there with the pearl closure. And this lace page is a little bit different. This one is a vintage tablecloth. And in this lace pocket is a different kind of button. Let's take a quick look. The other one was the wedding dress button, and I do believe that this little pocket here is a different wedding dress button. So I left the lace on there, and it has an elastic closure, and it just comes off. But I think it would be really pretty on a journal set, right? Or anywhere you'd want, really. And you could sew it in with a lace attached to it, because it is from a vintage wedding dress. And then I just closed up the pocket with this safety pin here. So that is so pretty, so cute. And with lots of laces hanging off the bottom and the top. And here is Swiss dot lace there. And here is this charm. Let's see, it's a vintage button rhinestone. Isn't it pretty? With that little lace there. And there's just lots of little fun details and treasures in here, isn't it? And then here is a rose cream cabochon in this pocket. And in this one is rolled roses with pearls in the middle in that pocket. And then here's another page. And here's a mother of pearl button there with some tatting hanging off that page. And then in this pocket is the same chain as I had in the other one. It's kind of like white pearls, but it's not. It's really pretty with a gold chain there. Lots of fun little treasures. So fun. And then this is a vintage button here that's in this page. And then we're on the back of the book, the little tiny journal. Isn't she sweet? So let's put her back into her tiny purse. And so cute. I love it. I love making... Oh, I forgot to put the doily back on it. Hang on just a second. Can't forget about the doily to go around for the cover. And then I just tied it up into a bow with this beautiful vintage chiffon here. I love chiffon. It is so pretty. I love the way chiffon drapes. I love it just as much as the Swiss dot tulle. So there she is with her cover. Now we can put her in her purse. Thank you all for hanging in there with me. I make such big journal sets that it takes quite some time to go through them. So I do thank you for hanging out with me. All right, so let's go into the ephemera little thing that I made here out of a paper bag. And again, here's a pin, the same pin. And I will put that in a baggie. And I wrapped a doily around this. So this is just a rhinestone brooch. It is so pretty. Look at this. It is stunning. And then on the bottom, on the inside and outside, I pinned in two sample lace vintage sample pieces there. So this you can just slide off just like the applique, just slide off the doily here. Oops. And then inside is this little treasure. So let's look at that vintage square button. It's ivory. It's so pretty. It is so pretty. I love vintage antiques. Oh my gosh. Look at the back of the button. All right. So wrapped around this frame is more of this vintage lace here, just a wider piece. And then here is this frame. The other one was in heart shaped. This one is an oval. But isn't that just so pretty, the cameo? And it's a frame, so it does stand up on your desk or your shelf. So that's just wrapped up beautifully, tucked inside your little ephemera holder. And then I kind of gathered it together and then pinned it in. Well, that didn't work right. Let's redo that. I kind of wrapped it in like this, and then I pinned it in like this. I like to be thorough in my videos so you know what you're receiving. So that will be tucked into the doily, so that's so pretty. So this is made out of a baggie, a little baggie. So I fold it tri-fold way. Inside of this pocket is a little tuck spot there. But let's take a look at this. This folds out like this, and I have the laces pinned in. And it is made out of a baggie and parchment paper. And these are all tags that I just kind of washi taped together. So here's this digital, and they are all backed. Isn't that just so pretty? I love the cameos. They're just gorgeous. And then this one here, look at this perfume bottle. I love it. Isn't that pretty? Now, I played around with my ink to ink up this whole journal set for this one, for the Biscotti Silk Couture. And I was playing around with some ink, so I'm going to show you a little trick. It's not a trick. It's just something I've learned playing around with the ink. That blouse just gorgeous. Oh, it's a collar. Oh, it's so pretty. And then here is the digital up close. Oops. And then on the inside, I have tucked in here. Nope, I had this one here. I made little pockets there, and on the inside, I pinned in another vintage sample, French sample piece. So up here is more tags tucked behind tags. So here's this one. Gorgeous digital to play with. Very pretty. And then in this middle one here, I have this one, the perfume bottle. It's just gorgeous. I enjoyed working with both of these digitals. So fun and inspiring to make something beautiful. And then down here with my tag punch. So these are removable, the vintage French sample lace here. So in these little lace pockets are these little tags that I punched out with my little tag punch. Isn't that just beautiful? All right, so that ephemera piece, and then it just closes like this, and then in the front pocket, I put a little tuck spotter pocket, is this little journal here. This is so precious. So I just made a little journal with all the scrap pieces and more tags. So I just tied some chiffon and used this lace here. Isn't this color lace just so pretty? Look at that. Look at that digital. And that one there. So pretty. And then here is just some papers that you can play with and move around if you want to. And this is piano paper. And then that came in one of the kits from Doreen, so I figured I'd put it in here. This is a CD case that I folded in half and put in the middle signature, and inside are 2 little tags there. And then I just put the beautiful vintage lace that I made the little purses out of on the paper. And then in here, in this pocket, are these tags. Aren't these pretty? I love cameos. Love cameos. So that is in the second pocket there. And then, oops, that looks like it went over. I think I need to add a little bit of glue in that. It came off at the top. I see it now. So I am going to need to glue that back down. There we go. Just little scrap papers for you to play with and move around and put into your journal. So I'm going to leave that untied so I can fix that real quick when I'm done with this video. So that is so pretty. I left all the threads just hanging out everywhere. All right, so I'm not going to wrap that back up because I'm going to fix that one piece. So let's just move this over here. All right, so now we are going to look at the beautiful journal. So pretty. So she stands up as well. Let me see. Let me see if I can get in. All right, so I have this. The sun is in a different spot now, so it's not so bright. But now I made this journal the same way I made the other one, where you can stand it up and display it to inspire you. And you could play with the lace and redrape the feathers and the lace and the pearls. And it is just a gorgeous digital. So pretty. And I put this washi tape on this spine. And then I used this, and I found, I'll have to show you in another video. And then I put this washi tape here. Isn't that just stunning? Isn't that gorgeous? And there's a brooch here and pearl chain and a brooch here that you can remove if you wish. And then back here, here's the sewn in lace with this digital. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. So that came out really pretty, but I just like to see all the elements in a journal and displayed on your shelf or your desk. So pretty. Wow, I can't believe how long this video is getting. Okay, so here's the side, and I did pin in the ties so you can move them. There's so much. Careful where you pull, right? This feather here is a black feather, and I just love it. And here's the pin for the closure. And here's this digital. You can see the washi tape in this one. This is a 2 signature as well. And this digital here. And then here I have clipped up here is this antique lace. Look at that, with this feather just pinned in. And I did put lace on the front and back side because it is antique and it is falling apart, but it's so pretty, just draped around the journal and standing up. It is just gorgeous. And then on the back side here, I just have a couple of ephemera pieces you can play with. French notebook paper here. Alright, so here I have a clip pinned in with this beautiful applique here, and inside is this paper stamped Le Corset with this antique. This is from the 1800s French rag book paper here. This is just stunning. And a lot of the same kind of papers in here, and some stamping, and here's that piano paper. They're just pretty. And some stenciling I did there, playing around with the ink. Did you see the colors? Aren't they gorgeous? And it matches the colors in the digital, which is amazing. And then here, what did I do here? Okay, so I tied with some chiffon around some paper. So we will leave this like this. Is a CD pocket here. And inside is just some lace acetate over this pretty lady here saying, "What shall I write in my journal today?" And then I just put her over the lace acetate over, and then just put it in the CD case. Just a fun little element for you to play with, play around with, and just have some crafty fun time, right? It's just fun. So then I tied it like this. Just a fun little simple element. I was thinking simple, but it took me months to make these journal sets. So it's not real so simple, is it? Making a journal is quite challenging. And then over here is a bulb pin with some pearls dangling down. So you could tuck something in there too, couldn't you? And then doily here. Here's the middle signature for the first. Here's the middle part of the first signature. And then on this paper clip here is a applique, Lenny. What's on the back side? Oh yes, this is so pretty, the coin purses. I was just playing around with the ink, and oh, I do have to take it off. Okay, so inside this glassine bag, I think it's just tags. Yeah, just tags. But aren't they pretty? Look at the colors. Aren't they just gorgeous? So pretty to me. So then I have this draped over the page here, and then just paper clipped. Oh, no. And then I just tucked this applique right into the clip, and then this gets tucked in back here. Then here is a ribbon flower, a bobby pin with a pearl and a ribbon. Look at that color. Isn't that color gorgeous? Made it into a bow there. And then tucked over here on this side of the bobby pin is this applique. And then this washi tape here with these fun little treasures here. This is just a miniature postcard backed with that paper. And then this French word here, that means to discover. You can discover all your treasures. That's what I was thinking about anyway. Just try to have fun. And then the applique over there. And then more stenciling. The colors are just gorgeous. Yes. I'll always play with ink now. I love inking and matching up the color to the digital. And then here's this applique pinned in here. And I did not cut the glycine bag because I would like you to play. And then clipped over here are these mini tags. Aren't these just so cute? These little mini tags here. See, here's 2 of them here. And then this rose dyed from my garden. I did this when I first started doing this. So it's kind of faded into like just a vintage color. More French book, antique book pages. And then over here are these 2 tags. So pretty, aren't they? Just, wow. Oh, and then on this side is a polka dotted bow and this antique April 1947. This is authentic. 35 cents for this song called Tenderly. I love it. Isn't it beautiful? Okay, so now we're at, there's the end of the first signature, and here's the start of the second signature here. What did I do here? Oh, okay, I see what I did. Okay, so over here I made a charm, and it's just so pretty. It's a champagne vintage pearl there with another tassel. And then I just put a paper clip to hold this down over the page. I kind of draped it over the page. So it is a flip up scrap paper little writing book, right? So it just has scrap papers in there, and I tied it with a lace right here and then tied it up here, and here's the back of that. And just stunning colors. Thank you all for hanging in there with me. It's been quite fun. But we are almost finished. And there is this stenciling done with the ink. Isn't that just gorgeous? So pretty. And see the colors? Here's an antique applique here. Just pinned in. Okay. I don't quite remember everything I've done, so let's take it apart. Isn't that gorgeous? Alright, so, oh, I tucked in some of this lace in here. Isn't that just beautiful lace? It's like the perfect color. And in this little bag, and I glued some lace on there because it was tearing. And here are some little tags. Aren't those cute? And that one there. So that's always fun. So that is draped over this page, and I had tucked in so it was sticking out of the page here. So you can kind of see your lace, right? More like this. Okay, and then I clipped carefully this antique applique there. See? Okay. Phew. Oh, the sun is starting to go down. Isn't that just pretty? All right, here I punched a hole with my heart punch, and you can untie the tool and remove the tags if you want to, but I put 2 tags here on this page. And in this glycine bag, I did put this digital in here. So pretty, isn't it? And this tag here, that's just presentation paper. And on the back side is some lined paper and more French cards here to furnish. Fournier to finish. Fournier. I'll have to practice that. Okay, so here's the middle signature for the second one. And then this one I just have clipped in some scrap papers over the page, tied with some chiffon, and there's some stamping there, and just scrap papers, and I tied it there, and then with more stamping on the back side in French. Gotta have French. I love Italian too. I have some fun things in the works. Just wait. All right, and here we have this. Isn't that pretty? The buttons, and this is presentation paper as well. Okay, this was somewhere, wasn't it? Because it was clipped, and I wonder it was in this page. I don't think it was on the back of this. It could have been though. So let's put it on the back of this. I don't know. We'll just put it there. All right, so there's some stenciling there. And then here, boy, I had some fun with this one. Okay, so here are, let's remove this whole thing here. Okay, so here is a French, early 1800s French paper here. Oh, it's 2 papers. Isn't that beautiful? And then I just tied in a bow some tags. These are just 2 tags. No, there are 4 tags in there. So let's pin this back on here. And then on the back of this, oh, I know what fell out now. So let's move that in the proper place. It was on the back of this. So I had it in here. Oh, and there's more paper. Oh, I put lots of little treasures in this one. I don't remember. It's been so long. This was the first one I made. So let's put this in here and close her back up, because those are old there. And then I had it pinned in here. I remember now. Okay, so there's a heart doily, more stenciling, and then here is another charm here, and I put a mother of pearl button down here. Look at this color bead. This bead is just stunning. Isn't that gorgeous? It's like a milky white, but it has a champagne undertone, and it's so pretty. So many fun things to play with in these journal sets that you can move around and take out. It's not permanent, and you can display beautifully on your desk or a shelf so they stand up, right? So I hope that you like these little journals. They're so cute. They're a lot of fun. A lot of cute little treasures in here for you to play with. But I thank each and every one of you for stopping by to hang out with me, excuse me, in this long video, right? Thank you for hanging in there with me. And Tiny Treasures journal sets will be available in my Etsy shop if you are interested. This one here will be Tiny Treasures number 1. This is Tiny Treasures number 2, okay? So that will be listed in there, plus I'll have the proper pictures with the right journal set. So I thank you all for being here with me today, going through all the tiny treasures. And I hope that you all have a beautiful day today, and I will see you soon in my next video. Bye!